Hello, 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 you good people out there. I thought I would just share a little bit of working on my AutoDrive network for Hawke's Bay, New Zealand, as a bit of a video to replace a Hawke's Bay episode because I cannot currently work on that one due to needing a completed network, or close to completed anyway. So instead, I'm working on the network. And I've had a few people ask me questions about exactly how I do my networks and what I look for in ones that are submitted to my AutoDrive repository. So, I'm going to go over a few things. Um, One of the things that I look for is please use the folders option. If you go in the settings here, I got to remember exactly where it is because I don't use it right here. This option right here that I have highlighted that says use folders, have that set to yes. What that allows you to do is when you create points, like I've created field 49 south, I just finished doing that, I can drag it into the fields folder. And that keeps all the field, well, that's gross. Let's fix that while we're in here. Field, there we go. That keeps all the fields together, and then I have the placeable areas all together. Points of interest, which are things like the fuel station, the hotel on my right here, that one, you can see the point there. That's actually for transport contract. Port Northwest, Woodlot Northwest, those sorts of things. Sale points all go into the sale points. And the shop stuff goes under the shop, which I usually have the shop lot somewhere close by where stuff is bought, but not right on top of where it appears, just close. That way I can load trailers and stuff. And then, of course, the repair point at the shop if it has one. Yard for me, that means my farmyard. Um, right now I only have two things in there, both of them for the silo. The silo discharge chute and the silo grate. This probably doesn't need the word yard in it, except that what if there are other silos outside of the yard? Um, it's with it being organized in folders, you probably don't need that. I typically put it. I'm surprised I didn't on this one. I'm going to anyway. And that just distinguishes that way. If you have multiple sets of silos on different pieces of properties, you know which one it is so that you know where to sort it into. So we're going to collapse those back up because we are working on fields right now and transports. So let's get a boogie on here. We are actually right just past this pole here. Actually, I'm probably going to go to the next spot. Yeah. Just past the poles in the middle. We're going to start recording a new course. What we're going to do is go off here and get into about the middle of the grassy area. Drive for a little while. That should be far enough. And name this point. And this one's going to be, if we bring up our map larger here, 49. Again, we just did 49 south. Now we're going to do 49 east. If possible, put multiple points on a field in different places. This field, all these large fields are going to get one on all four sides, if possible. Um, that just allows you to have better coverage. You can put multiple uh, tractors with trailers, one at each point, and then whichever one the combine is closest to, that'll be the one that it calls if you have your settings set up right between course play and AutoDrive. So we're going to go ahead and name this. Oops, I just forgot the field number. 49, that's right. Field 49 east. Field 49 east. So now, when we go in here and put that, we got east and south, and so on and so forth. That helps more than you can imagine on keeping things organized. Now, if you have a lot of fields, like some of the big 8x or 4x, 16x, etc. maps that have a lot of fields. Um, the best thing to do is even split fields up into multiple categories. Um, on the multiplayer series that I'm working on with Matty Fi and Country Bumpkin right now, we have every 25 fields in its own folder. Because there's just somewhere around the neighborhood of 95 or so fields, I believe. And that's just a little too much. Now, another thing, as you can see from the recording, um, have both lanes of your road done, all your main roads. I do all my main roads first. Now, sale points like the one ahead that are off the main road, I do as I'm doing the main road past them. And the reason I do that is so I don't forget. And hopefully I don't miss any. I've had to edit networks to go back and fill in things that I missed. But then you have things like these little side roads. Now that's a narrow road. I make these one way, and I know that this one is going to head west. Now the reason that I know that is because if we bring up our big map here, we are here on the north edge of Field 49. This road coming along the south edge is headed east. And so since this one's headed east, this one needs to head west. This one down here heads west. So where these two intersect, one east, one west, it is a little odd. This section between this bridge and this intersection here is actually the only two-way. And when I say two-way, I don't mean 2 lanes, one in each direction. I mean it's one lane, but you can drive either way on it. The reason I don't typically do that, and I tend to reject networks that are written that way, traffic accidents. You put 2 or 3 things on AutoDrive, and then the next thing you know, they're not arriving at their destinations. And when you go and check on them, they've crashed head on into each other. Not a good situation to be in. So I avoid that if at all possible. Sometimes it's not possible. You just have to use common sense. But if you're going to submit to my repo and you're going to put a 2-way 1 lane on, justify it. Explain it in your README. Because I'm going to come back at you if you put it in with no good reason for it. I'm going to ask questions, and you're going to be, whoa, but, please just make it make sense. Use your head, be logical about it, be methodical about it, and think of what the possible consequences are. Now, if you only ever put one vehicle on AutoDrive, you're never going to have a problem. But when you're making an AutoDrive network for public consumption, you have to make the assumption that the public is going to do things that you might not expect them to do. So account for it as best as you can. And one of the ways to do that is make one-ways one-ways. Now, because this is going to head east to west, I'm actually going to go the wrong way down it to start with. Now, another reason that I'm doing them the way they are is because I think it's the way the map maker intended it. If you notice, there's a stop sign here. Oh, I guess there's stop signs on both sides. So the map maker did intend for them to be bidirectional. And I guess that's fine if you're driving them manually. However, when you're driving them on AutoDrive, back to what I just said, account for what people are going to do. And narrow roads are going to be best done as one-ways. So what we're doing here is driving down to the far end of this so that we can start at that end. Alrighty. And as you can see, main roads are already done. So I'm going to spin around here. Get lined up pretty good. I tend to move my viewpoint around a lot when I'm doing AutoDrive networks. I find that it helps to get me lined up good. Now, we're going to take into account what type of vehicles. If somebody's sending in articulated tractor trailer down here, it's going to need to make a wider turn. Not necessarily here, because there's a lot of grass right here that it could drag the trailer across if we wanted it to. But, you know, why not account for that too if you can? So what we're going to do is offset just a little bit to the right, start our recording, continue to offset, and then cut back in. There we go. So an articulated lorry shouldn't have any problems with that. Now, we're only going to go this far, and we're going to turn off recording, and we're going to turn around. Now, you're probably wondering, why would you turn around? Because we've only entered it from one direction. I want to cover the entire corner before leaving it, because I don't want to forget. I'm a pretty forgetful guy, and I want this to be as complete as possible. Now, would it work if I forgot it? Yes, because what the person going this direction would do is they'd go down till they found a spot to turn around, and then they'd come back and go this way. That's assuming they needed to actually be on this stretch of road. If they didn't need to be on this stretch of road, they might just seek an alternate route entirely. But why make that happen either? So what we're going to do is adjust things a little bit here. You can see that between the point that I'm closest to and the next point, there's a lot of distance. But between that point and the point after it, there's a lot less distance. This is a little too close to the corner. I'm going to adjust that and bring it back to a little ways before the corner. Now let's check the centering on that. That looks pretty good. Now the reason that I did that is so that I can do my start off of that one. I'm going to, once again, offset just a little bit, start my recording, drive like I'm cornering in an articulated truck, and voila. It'd be nice to get one more point in there, and there's a way to do that. We turn off recording, estimate our distance between the two, drop a point manually, which is left control, click on the map. Now I can click there and click there to create a link, click there and click there to create a link. Voila, we are now all linked up. All right, so after that, we're going to go out here past our last point, hit record again. You might wonder why I went so far past the last point. The reason for that is the distance between points is one of the things that tells AutoDrive how fast to go. The closer your points are together, the slower it goes. And you can use this for some interesting tricks, which I'm going to show you one of here at the other end of this little stretch. When we get to where we are going to stop for the stop sign, we can make our vehicles not stop, but slow down to basically nothing. All right, so we got the stop sign on the left there. I want to get one more point. Yeah, that's still a little off, but what we'll do is we'll turn off recording, drag that point forward a little bit. There we go. I'm going to move the mouse so that I can get the view better. There. Maybe even a hair farther than that. That'll do. And what we're going to do is, again, put in a point right after it manually. And we drag that point to where they're just about touching, and then connect them. If you drag that, oops, I didn't actually connect, so connect them and then drag it close. Now I've got it offset a little, which also helps with the slowing of it, making it slow down. And so now that that's done, what we can do is drive forward until we get our point. There we go. Now I'm going to hit record, and I'm going to go straight across. Alright, I'm straight across now. I want one more point. Come on, one more point. One more auto-generated. There we go. Okay. So we take that off. And we're going to spin around. And we're going to come back in here. Now, why did I come back in here, you say? Because we want to connect to our point here. I want to offset just a hair to the right. And we want to be past it. Because if we're not past it, it'll break. There we go. We're past it. And I'm going to make this my wide left turn. And we're going to straighten out. Nice and easy. Voila. Good enough. And we can connect this to this. And now we have a nice corner to the left. And all we have to do is rinse and repeat to turn right. So this time, because I'm turning right, I will offset from my starting point a little bit to the left. Whoop. So you see there, I have an issue. It's looking at this point to start, and it's almost directly sideways. That's okay. I'm still going to drop my start point there. All I have to do is click here and here to disconnect that point, and then there and there to reconnect it. And that lets me make my nice wide, careful turn. Voila. Turn off recording. This was my last point. If I follow my points through, it changes the color so you can see where that's at. And I can just connect that to there. Move it aside to verify it looks good. Okay. So now we have it exiting the little side road in both directions. Now we need to allow for entering it from either direction as well. Just like we did back at the first intersection. And this point's already pretty well set up for it. I want to move it back a little and left a little because it was kind of cockeyed. And there we go. Nice turn. Whoops, overdid that a little, which is okay. Stop our recording. We hold left Alt and click on that, and it deletes the unnecessary point. And then we can connect this guy up to there, and all is well with the world. And we just simply spin around the other direction. Avoid that light pole there. Get ourselves lined up nicely. And this one we have to start a little farther back because it's a tighter corner, and we want to make it so that our articulated vehicles can make it through. This is probably a little too far back, so let's see. Can we adjust that at all? We can. We bring this guy back here, and moving these two close together helps slow it down for the corner as well. It's all about the little tricks. So I've got my offset. Whoops. Well, I'm still going to go there because that's where I want the point. Alright. Whoopsie. Helps if I click on the right thing, doesn't it? There we go. So cut it wide. Cut back into it. Ooh. Yep. I bumped that stop sign. Now, you might think, oh crud, I got to delete all that and redo it. No, no, no. All you got to do is get on this angle, grab every point, and move it a little bit to the left. It's tedious, it's annoying, but it works. And it works quite well, in fact. Now we can turn our recording off, connect the points, and we're good to go. We can continue on. Continue the mission, as it were. Record. Now that happens once in a while. It's supposed to auto-connect at start with the settings that I have. Once in a while it won't, and that's typically because you've gone a little too far away and confused it. So, alright. we've been looking for a place to possibly duck in on the north side of field 49. And this looks like it could be our spot. If we make a left here, come between this tree, and then align ourselves along here, we can probably make a nice divergent route there. So I'm just going to continue on from right here and do exactly that. We take it nice and easy, drive slow. Beautiful. And this becomes field 49 north. It's another field point done. Drive on just a little bit. I've already scoped out where I want my exit to be. We're gonna cut a little bit in tighter to the field so we avoid that tree with higher vehicles, hopefully. And here's our exit. If you have a problem with higher vehicles in that tree, you just cut down the tree, or at least limit. So we have this minor problem of being disconnected for the straight through road. We don't want the road coming out here on this diverging route. In fact, let's, just to be on the safe side, let's actually move this whole thing out. Okay. Can I make it? Yes, I can. Beautiful. Get myself lined up nicely. We don't care about where it's thinking it's going to connect to right now because we'll just fix it. Beautiful. Now we're going to drive ahead and connect this up there. But we're still not done. After we do that, we're going to turn around one more time because the field on our right, field 48, should also be connected. And this is an ideal spot to do that connection as well. So shut off our recording. Spin around through here again. And we'll just come right back out right here. And on our way back, we'll be looking for a spot to duck in. And oh, look. I chose my initial point well. Because I should, in theory, be able to use that same point to offset right. It looks a little rough, but we're going to manually adjust it and smooth it out a bit. There we go. And we just come in right along the edge of the field. And this one's got a better exit point right there. So this is going to be field 48 south. And we exit the field right here. Voila. And that is that. Okay. Now, we're going to move along here. Get up by our end point. Drive past it a ways. Hit record, and yep. I expected that, so no big deal. And we're just going to drive right along here. Now, we could change those points to northeast and southeast, respectively, and put in 2 more points farther along the field. I'm not going to do that with this map. Maybe I should, but I'm not going to. Alright. So we're coming up here to a nice little intersection of another one-way. So we're going to slow down for the corner. And if we look at our arrows, this one is heading the same direction that we are. So all we have to do is join up with it. Just merge. And make it beautiful. Which I didn't do a very good job of. So we'll adjust that point a little. Turn off record. Maybe adjust it a little bit more. And that one as well. Just make it a little smoother of a transition. And we are also going to disconnect here. And do our points magic. For slowing us down. Now be careful that you don't go past 90 degrees. You want to stay about 80-85 degrees on that angle off your straight line. Otherwise, your vehicle will not want to go through there. Alright, so we're going to go right here. And we're going to spin around back the other way. Because we want to be able to turn down that as well. Oof, there's a rough spot that I did. While we're here, let's fix that. Once again, just right click and drag. Right click and drag to smooth it out a little. Looks like a drunk driver went through there. But I'm pretty sure I was not drinking when I made this. Alright, so we're going to drag that back this way a little. Offset to the left so we can get a wide turn out of it. Hit record. Why am I doing this? Because I'm tired, that's why. This is completely irrelevant. We can't go that direction down there, so why are we doing it? And I'll catch myself doing that once in a while. Especially if I'm doing a tutorial like this where I'm teaching somebody how to work with AutoDrive. I get carried away on all the little tricks, and I forget what I'm actually supposed to be doing. That's okay. Now, we can take this opportunity, though, to grab a nice convenient point and start an offset to leave the field. Or to leave the road, rather, for the field. And this is field 48, right? Yes, field 48, and we're on the west side. So, field 48 west, enter. And then we're just immediately gonna duck right over here. And join up. Cancel that, connect to that, and away we go. Now, do I have an out there? I do not. So I actually do not want this connection. What I want to do is connect to the outbound, which is here, we'll call it. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drag all these and just set it how it actually needs to be. If you've ever watched Bob Ross, he'll tell you that there are no mistakes, just happy accidents. I don't 100% agree with that, but I like the attitude. So that gets us an out for there. Now, there is something that would be a little bit difficult to connect as things stand. It would be difficult to connect a northern side on this, and I'm not going to. I think 2 points, and it'll actually end up being 3 points, is plenty. The 4th point is not required, and I prefer not to go right up to the map edge with the points anyway. Now if we turn back this way, I will show you, boy, that's a little bit rough through there, isn't it? What I was talking about with the bidirectional 1 lane. See how the line is blue instead of green? Now there are 2 ways that you can do that, and I'm going to show you both ways real quick. Then I'm going to stop recording for a little bit until I get to the next trick, which will be the last one I show you guys for tonight. So we can start with our normal click, and we drive and drive and drive, and we've got points, right? Alright, so we've got some points. Now we realize we want that to be both directions. So what we can do is at the opposite end, going against the arrows that are on the lines, we can click and reverse our way down. And voila, now it's 2-way. However, that's not great. If you know from the beginning that you're going to create a 2-way, what you can do is hold left shift, click record, and then start your driving. I misremembered. I'm good for that. I swore it was shift. I don't know what that color of line represents, I'll be honest with you. So what we'll do is we'll delete that. Was it right shift and click? Nope. We're learning together. Left control and click? Definitely not. Left alt and click? Still no. Boy, I was really sure that it was left shift, or yeah, left shift. But it's not coming out that way. So what we're going to do is look at our handy dandy controls. So if we look at AutoDrive, and so toggle mouse, yada yada, HUD, enable, disable, select next target, select previous target, next to unload, previous unload, edit mode, neighbor points, we don't care, delete waypoint, delete closest, and it's not on our control list. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, I guess we won't be showcasing that one today, because I really thought it was. I'll turn that off. Left shift. Maybe I'll try one more. Left control and shift. Let's see what that does. Nope, that's still not our 2-way. Well, I will look into what's going on there and what this other mode is that I didn't even know about. For now, we will put you guys on pause for the recording so that I can go and find a certain other situation that I want to show you guys. Alrighty, I shall return. Okay, I found a good example that I've already done of what I wanted to talk to you guys about. And that is, do not have a joining and a split off the same waypoint. So you've got your straight line, your spur line coming off from the compost point, they join here. There's at least one waypoint before the next transition, which is the split to get into the hotel. And the reason for that is if you put the split off of this waypoint, sometimes it won't be used. If you're coming off this spur for the compost, it won't take that left. Or possibly if it'll always take it off the spur, it won't take it off the straight through. One of the two entry routes will not go onto one of the two diverging routes. I don't know the reasons behind that. I just know that I've had problems with it, so I avoid it. I experienced that the first time while doing the Lucas Island network that I made. There's a pond in the middle of the map where you can get water, and around it is basically a roundabout. So that's what I made it, was a roundabout. Now the funny thing about roundabouts is that you're entering and exiting all the time. And I had on a couple of different spots where it entered from one and then immediately diverged off the same point to exit right out another one. And when I started testing the network, it did not like that. It would go all the way around the roundabout to get off. And I'm trying to figure it out, and I noticed that it did not do it on the ones that had at least one section, one waypoint between. So I made them all have one waypoint in between, and voila, it worked. So there you have it. I just stopped having converging and diverging routes off the same waypoint. It's even if it's two waypoints very, very close together, like I do for the stop sign areas, still better than having it not work, as you would expect. Alrighty, so our last entry here, field 41 west, enter. And that's it for a little bitty AutoDrive tutorial on Hawke's Bay, New Zealand map for you guys today. This will replace my normal Hawke's Bay episode for Wednesday. And that should be coming back on Saturday and resuming from there. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. Otherwise, take care. Have a great night. Okay, I know I already did my outro, but I thought I'd show you guys another way to do the little stop sign trick, so that you don't have to do manual points. And also, I remembered how to do the two-way single path. So I'll show you guys both of those real quick, and then we'll call it the end of the video. So for the first one, we're going to pull up to our sign here, and I didn't get a point conveniently, so I'm going to stop recording and start recording, which unfortunately connected to that, and I want it connected back here. That's fine. Now we're going to stop recording again and move this off to the side. Start recording again. That gets us our second point, and we just move this one up close. Voila. And because we didn't stop recording again, now we can keep going, make our corner, try to be nice and smooth here to right there. Stop recording, punch that in, and now real quick, so to get the blue two-way path, it's right click, not shift click. And there we go, I'm doing blue two-way path. So I don't know what that shift click mode is. I have not looked it up in the documentation yet. Hopefully I'll know by the next time I do one of these AutoDrive walkthrough, tutorial, whatever you want to call them. Alright, so again, thanks, and you guys have a good night.